Girl, y'all are mean. Okay, you all literally have a reputation for being mean and unempathetic. I don't even know if that's a word. Unempathetic and heartless on social media, especially and I say these especially on Twitter. And it's people in every area, the astrology community, the tarot community, the freaking manifesting community. Like, all of y'all turn people off because of how mean you are, and just uncaring is the word that I that just comes to mind. You guys are turning people off spirituality and making people hate it. You're making people hate spirituality. You're making people, think we're just off and delusional more than they already do. And people who need this knowledge and healing are being turned away because of how rude you guys get. Okay. And that's in regards to a lot of stuff. Like, that's not just in regards to bigotry, but it's also and this video is not about bigotry. It's about how you guys deliver things. It's in regards to how you deliver, the truth. Okay. The so-called truth that y'all just love to stand behind. And the solution is very simple. Stop talking to people like children. As a matter of fact, the way some of y'all talk about people and talk to people, you shouldn't even be talking to animals like this. Okay. You need a cleansing of the heart and mind. You need to grow up and mature. Get some emotional maturity. Get some emotional intelligence. Read the room. My God. One of the things that I think that has really contributed to just the exacerbation of this issue is the pandemic. Like, something about the pandemic, well, the isolation issue basically made people really miserable. And I mean, there was a lot of stuff. There was a lot of death. There was just a lot of pain and destruction going on during the pandemic. And so, yeah, that contributed to making people very miserable. And on Twitter, especially, well, Twitter is one of the places that you can see it the clearest. Just has so much vitriol in their heart. It doesn't need to be this way. Like, you begin an argument with somebody and you just immediately go below the belt. And, before, you would at least need to have some light banter first, but some people are just straight up going the meanest way out. And if it's not tarot readers reaming people out for quote unquote being dumb, it's them talking shit about their clients on Maine, or astrologers shading and fighting each other over which type of astrology is the best, or just generally being self righteous and arrogant. We need to turn that back. Okay. While I realize that there was a trend of sugarcoating in the spiritual community in the past, you guys are taking it too far. We need to swing the pendulum all the way back. Okay. Like, you guys are mocking, humiliating, disrespecting, and embarrassing people in the name of keeping it real and being honest. Okay. Honesty without compassion is cruelty. Kindness without honesty is manipulation. We need to have a balance here. We need to become balanced communicators. Like, every mistake a person makes in their life is not like y'all. Some of y'all make it feel like it's the end of the freaking world. Like, this person does not deserve anything good after this mistake that they've made for the fifth time. Like, and that's not coming from spirit. That's coming from y'all. It's coming from y'all's ego. All right. That's coming from y'all laughing at people and being sadistic. Okay. So maybe you hate yourself for your mistakes, but that doesn't mean everybody else has to. All right. Being condescending. Oh my God. And, thinking that you're better than them. And even if you don't say that out loud, it just shows, it just does. Y'all are not well. Y'all are not well. People don't come to tarot readers happy and in a great mood. Like, people come to tarot when they have issues. Let's be real. People come to tarot when they have issues. And, you can be blunt and direct without hurting people's feelings. And a lot of you just don't want to learn how. I feel like it's too much. It's a burden, and in any field that you are dealing with people, you have to have some type of skill that makes you, speak the truth in a direct way without triggering the person or. Okay. People do want the truth. Do they want to be browbeaten? No. Do they want to be told their man left them because they're ugly? No. Okay. It is your job as a person who communicates for a living to communicate something properly. Control your delivery. Control it. And I'm talking about, the people who just go out of their way without any direction from spirit to be mean and to even just give a reading where you're angry at somebody. Like, Sometimes spirit is angry at you, and that's just what it is. And, you just have to take it. Some of y'all just don't care. Some of y'all, you genuinely just don't know the difference between sugarcoating and, telling the truth in a way that won't trigger people. And you need to know that difference. And a lot of the things that people face issues with, it comes from trauma. It doesn't come from willingly being a dumbass. It doesn't come from willingly, making poor decisions. It doesn't come from just wanting your life to be bad and just feeling good, being a stupid idiot. It doesn't come from that. It comes from trauma. And some people are not even aware of the problems. So why beat them with a stick over it? Why? There's no reason to. People are taking it too far. People are taking this truth telling thing, this harsh truth thing too far. Like, there's just a clear demarcation of when people started being extra mean on social media, and it started around 2020, and we need to heal that. I need people to realize the effect that it has had on the way they go about things, on the way that they deliver things. Maybe go back to that time and psychoanalyze yourself and figure out, like, what went wrong. Why do you need to be condescending? Why do you need to have a superiority complex over somebody that literally came to you for help? Why do you laugh at their negative readings and get a kick out of, like, their trauma? Like, some of y'all are well. People don't come to readers to get kicked in the butt. You have to strike a balance between being too soft and hurting people. Maybe even turn some people away because they aren't ready to hear what you have to say. And you can see that. And you can see that they're going to react poorly, and in a way that would negatively affect them. All right. So, yeah, you got to think about stuff like that. Some people have really deep wounds. Some people are still living with the people who abused them. Some people are in some real deep shit. And for y'all to make fun of it, like, that's just a no. Why are you doing that? And the point is not to be like an empathetic enabler or anything like that. The point is to be conscious of how other people might react to what you say. That's it. Like, whatever happened to being respectful? Whatever happened to wanting to see people win? Like, whatever happened to motivating people? What is the point of being a leader, having all of this influence and not using it for something good and just treating people like, I don't know, like they're children or something? Like, they're just little annoying kids that you can't fucking stand. Like, what is the point of that? On another note, being mean and snide and uncaring is a sign of burnout. Okay. Y'all are burnt out and you need to find a way to treat that. Okay. Y'all are doing readings every single day and you don't check in on yourself emotionally and then you pass inner frustration on to others. A lot of y'all just get really upset, overly upset, and disrespectful and judgmental with other people for repeating cycles. And it's just like, and it's not out of a place of care. That's the thing. Like, it's out of a place of just disgust and, like, I feel like I'm better than you. Like a sense of superiority. And that's very nasty. All right. That's just very nasty. People don't like that shit. All right. Like, I know a lot of y'all care about clients and keeping people and visibility. People do not like that. Okay. And if you're upset with people, just call out of your line of work because that's all being in the healing industry is. You are in the healing industry, especially if you do the collective readings and all that shit. You feel like, oh, this is not what I'm doing. You're still dealing with people and their trauma either way. You're still dealing with people and their subconscious patterns that they don't recognize all the damn time. It's not going to take one reading, two readings to just magically disappear. Okay, not everybody is you. Some of y'all take 2 seconds to dissolve a pattern and rewrite a new one. Everybody's not the damn same. Okay, like, some people are trapped in their own mind and you need to hold space for that. If you don't want to do that, then girl, I don't know what to tell you. Get out of this space and make space for somebody who actually cares about their job and who is not just there to post a video and leave. Like, no shade, but I'm just telling you straight. If anything, we should be supporting people through their different changes, through, their journey to becoming their best selves, not necessarily trying to fix them or change them. And, when they don't fit into whatever image we have of how we want our collective to be, we just disparage or discard them. Just refer them to somebody that can actually help them, that has the experience that they have. And something I see that y'all do that irritates me is y'all talk about celebrities and their mistakes and what they're doing, and you psychoanalyze them and you give them all the grace in the world. But You talk about regular people like they're just scum and they're worthless and like they're beneath you. And it's just really gross to me. It's been really disgusting to watch. And I can't stand that shit. And it's like, to me, these celebrities have like millions of dollars in access to therapy. They have money that they can just live on forever. And a lot of regular people don't. And they're struggling every day and they're struggling. And sometimes they can't afford to take a day off, to even just sit with themselves. And you'll give them no grace. And it's just weird. It's just weird. I hate to see that, really. And I'm just like, not every client that you're going to get is going to be a celebrity who's going to give you big money. Like, it's going to be a regular person. And you're going to have to learn to respect people and to speak to them in a way that honors everything that they've been through. And it's just like some of y'all, and another thing, and like some of y'all just don't freaking get it. Like, a lot of y'all laugh at people in the most vulnerable moments, and it's just like there's this fine line between laughing when you're uncomfortable in a situation and just not taking shit seriously and, mocking somebody when they're vulnerable. Fine line between that. And there was somebody that I was watching for quite a while who I was always wondering whether or not, are they laughing because they're uncomfortable or are they laughing because they don't respect me? And this is a person who does general readings, by the way. And, I think it's because, like, I don't know, I'm neurodivergent, so I don't really read signals well all the time. And so I do readings sometimes on, is this person genuine? Is what does this person mean by that? And, I found out that they were mocking me and I was pissed the fuck off. And, they are just added to one of the readers that I'm referring to in this video because, just one of the reasons that I'm making this video. And the less money that you have in this world, the more likely it is that you're going to be traumatized or re traumatized by an event that occurred. And for you to not have empathy for that is just crazy. Okay. For you to just go off the rails, just being overly judgmental and going off on them does nothing to help them. It doesn't do anything but lower their self esteem and give them one more experience that tells them that they are unworthy because they made a mistake. It costs you nothing to be more kind and patient with people. And speaking of readers that trigger me, back in what, 2022? Yeah, summer 2022, I had a ridiculous like general reading. A lot of people do like a lot of people buy readings. I'm a type of person, I do a lot of general readings because they just come up in my algorithm so often. And I was in a rough spot and I was watching a general reading of a reader who I know is really gifted. They help people a lot, but I hadn't watched them in a while. And I was just like, sometimes you're looking for a certain type of vibe. So I go and watch this person and they say something so cold, just so bleak, I let me tell you, it was so mean that my brain blocked it out like a week after. Like, I could not remember what this person said because it had triggered me that badly. And it was to the point where like I was so mad, like I was crashing out in my apartment, girl. Like, it was really bad. And once again, I did that thing where I asked Spirit, okay, am I in the wrong here? Like, am I crashing out for because my ego is hurt or because this person is actually in the wrong? And Spirit told me no, like, no, this person is in the wrong and they're going to get karma for what they did or what they said and how they treated you. But I'm not going to really see the karma unfold in their life because with the products that they're making and all the readings that they're doing, they're actually helping people and it's giving them good karma, And so really going to see, I'm not really going to see their downfall. And I don't even know if I should mention this person's name, but I don't yeah, this is one of the main reasons why I decided to make this video because I am tired. I'm tired of this shit. Like, I'm tired of just the people in like this industry. And it's not just like the tarot industry too. It's a lot of people in customer service, like front facing roles that are really, really heartless. Like, There's mean nurses, there's mean therapists, but I'm a tarot reader, so I gotta trust the tarot reader's child. And yeah, so that was my experience. And girl, it's like 10 more stories. It's like, let's say, two or three more stories like that where I was just so, heartbroken, taken aback, triggered by a person's callousness, right? Is I don't want to start beef with anybody. Like, I just want to tell y'all to stop that bullshit. Like, it really, it's not a good look. It's worse than a bad look. It's horrible. You're affecting real people's lives. And if you can do something like that, if you can see somebody in a vulnerable state and just mock them and laugh at them or make them feel horrible about themselves, you're this close to a sociopath, and I don't want to be around you. Deadass. I don't want to be around you, and I don't want anything to do with you. So y'all are way too competitive. There's so much tension and jealousy in this community. Like, there's good things about this community, but there's a lot of underlying tension and jealousy and competition and a lot of just ego showboating. Like, it's just so unnecessary to me. And like, y'all be hexing people over this stuff, and it's like, focus on yourself. Like, burn some money in attraction candles, get rid of your bad habits to attract like more peace and success, and leave people alone. And it's no spirit in here. Like, there's nothing about YouTube or the YouTube tarot community in particular that is making you guys do this. It's just fear, ego, lack, and crabs in a bucket mentality. Everybody can make it. Everybody can make it, okay? And every single day, it's just another post about who's the most, intuitive, who does the best readings, who does the most accurate readings. Like, it's just, and there this underlying tension is just making people reactive, so you feel like you have haters before you even start to do something. And it's just crazy. Like, there does not need to be that type of energy. It just does not. So if you are feeling some tension, just ignore it. Literally, people, just ignore it. Transmute that energy. Just ignore people. If they have issues, their issues with you are not your problem. Just, yeah. Intuitives versus card readers, tarot card readers, or, any other card readers. Lately, I've been seeing this thing with people who don't use cards to, get messages, talking down or throwing shade to people who do use cards. And it's just like, do y'all think that you don't need to be intuitive to read cards in the first place? Like, I don't understand what's happening here. Like, why do that? That is so weird. Like, no one method is better than the other. This is just like the astrologers talking about, which chart format is better, which type of astrology is better. And it's like, girl, first of all, they all work. They all work. You can get a message from anything, okay? You can divine a message from anything, okay? You can divine a message from two sticks outside thrown together if you set the intention. Okay, so stop putting people down for the methods that they use. Okay, and there was this lady that I was watching, and she was like, I read souls. I don't read arts. I don't do headlines. And it's like, girl, do you not know that part of the people you're supposed to offer services to are the people you're cutting down right now? Are card readers, are people who use cards in whatever, capacity? Like, I don't understand. Like, do I don't know. It's like they think, I don't know. And that comment is also just crazy to me because there is value in everything that people do. Everything is just not for everybody. Everything is not going to resonate with you. There are people who learn things from even the celebrity readings. I learned like a lot of I feel like I got a lot of emotional intelligence from, the celebrity dynamics and how they work. Like, I learned stuff that I could use in my own life. And, the people who do the headlines, who else are we talking about? But like the people who do the politics readings, right? Like, there is definitely value in that, looking behind the curtain to see like what people are actually doing and planning and what they're thinking and how we can counteract that. There is value in all of the tarot content that is online. So, and it's just like, do you not find value in your own content? Like, why do you have to go and cut down other people's? You read souls, you do this, you do that. Why can't you lead with that instead of trying to detract everybody else? Like this is an issue everywhere on the internet, and this is the stuff that I just cannot stand. It doesn't make any sense. Like, I don't know who y'all are following. Okay, I don't know if y'all have met with a ton of scammer tarot card readers, but the tarot card readers that I know and love are intuitive with or without cards. They were intuitive first. They don't need cards. They use cards because it's fun, because it's part of their purpose, because they're passionate about it. Okay. So, okay. And here's the thing about forms of divination, different forms of divination. All forms of divination work. Can you get what's going to happen in your career from a traditional Native American weather reading? No, but that does not make it inaccurate. Okay, different forms of divination give clear answers for certain topics, right? And this works for astrology too. All methods of astrology work. Okay, the most common method of interpreting charts right now wasn't what was used 100 years ago, and people still made good predictions. So, and it's the same for tarot card reading. Okay, like I just, you know. And what is the best form of divination? The divination that you can get clear and accurate answers from, the one that works for you. Okay, and that's going to be different for everybody. All right. If everybody was supposed to use one form of divination, spirit would have done it that way. They would have, but they know that everybody is different and everybody's going to be different. There's no way that they would just be one true type of divination, one true type of astrology that everybody would be using. Like, everybody is different and it's the same. Divination is an individual thing. Sometimes, it's communal and it's ancestral, but it doesn't mean that you can't learn like other forms of divination. You know what I mean? So just cut the nonsense, everybody. And also, it is not y'all's job to know and judge everyone's purpose around you, okay? You don't understand why somebody is doing readings with cards when, your guides or, your life has pushed you to the point where you have to use, your clairaudience or your clairvoyance. It's none of your business, just quite frankly. It is your job to know and fulfill your own purpose as much as possible, okay? You don't have to know anybody else's purpose. Don't be a monitoring spirit. Everybody, and also everybody here is not a light worker. Everybody here is not meant to serve for free, even. Some people are here to do entertainment, and some people are here to do the hard hitting healing work. And everybody has something valuable to offer, nevertheless. And we just have to all come to know and acknowledge that and accept that. Nobody in this space is inferior because of the type of content that they do, their level of knowledge or their skill level. Okay? It's just YouTube, y'all. It's really not that deep. Sometimes it's really not that deep. Okay, so this is a part where I talk about this lady that texts me. I've been in this community for 2 seconds and already, somebody tried to text me. And girl, so I posted my first long form video, Celeste Rivas Hernandez and David, tarot reading with Archangel Michael. And in that video, I added a tag in the description box, Celeste Rivas Hernandez Spirit Box. Why? Because it's a popular tag and it's social medias. I added the tag so that the video could show up on the algorithm. Simple enough, right? So there's this lady and she has a video with that same, a similar title. It has Spirit Box in the title. I don't even know what it was. If it was a tarot reading or if it was just a Spirit Box session or if it was both. I can't remember. But this video, this lady, she texted me with a trickster spirit or, some type of spell to make me confused and to manipulate me into stop doing reading. Can you believe that? Because I added a tag in the description. And she didn't just do this to me. She did this to other tarot readers as well who had, that tag in their title or in their description or whatever. Why? Because she wanted to be the only one. She wanted to be the only one. Isn't that crazy? Isn't that crazy? Anyway, she is so irrelevant that I do not remember the name of her channel. So I'm going to describe the video to you that it was. I'm going to describe the video thumbnail. Okay. It was a brown skinned black lady, sitting at a table. I can't remember. I think she had a purple shirt. There's purple somewhere in the thumbnail. And there's green somewhere in the thumbnail. And she has her arms in front of her, and it has the words Celebs Rivas Hernandez Spirit Box in the title. That's that lady. She's trying to cloak herself spiritually. But Miss Girl, I see you. Me and my spirit team saw you. Okay. And this is just a warning to her and anybody else that thinks they can get over on me and thinks they can stop my purpose and my destiny from coming to fruition. You have been warned. Don't let this shit happen again. You better cloak yourself out of existence, out of the entirety of YouTube before you ever mess with me again, okay? I don't play. I do not play around. And I don't want anybody to think that I play around for even 1 second. So watch yourself. I know it's ironic for me to say ignore people, but you do have to address shade sometimes to remind people of who you are and set the tone for future interactions. There's a difference between like ignoring stuff and letting people think that you are weak. You can't let people think they can mess with you. So my strategy is just to, set the tone, okay? And then just ignore people moving forward, because if they don't think that they will have consequences for their actions, they're going to continue. So yeah. And I'm not going to have that. What I am seeing in the spiritual community as far as the rise of this conservative type of mindset is basically just being woefully uninformed. And part of that is a couple of years ago, there was this ideology circulating that you shouldn't watch the news. You should not watch the news because it's full of propaganda. It's full of, depressing, low vibrational stuff. And while that is true, the point is not to just cut the news off cold turkey. The point is to consume it mindfully and critically. Okay? Critically is a key point here. Is what you're seeing true? And if it is, what does that mean about your beliefs and your worldview? Okay, can you go to different sources and see that they corroborate the same thing? All right. Who owns these sources? Do these people have society's best interest at heart? Okay. It's not about ideology necessarily. It's about what, what these people stand for, what these people are doing for society and not just themselves. Okay. And not just for rich people, but for the regular person. How do they treat people that can't do anything for them, that are not in their tax bracket? That's important. And I don't see y'all having empathy for those type of people. And that is probably why America has the person in power that they have today. Okay, no tea, no shade. Like sometimes I ask my guys and angels about, what the truth in a headline really is. And they tell me what's really happening. And it's not always what I expect or what I want to hear. And I have to change my opinions. I have to change my view on the world. And it's not just about watching the news either. Your worldview, your inner worldview needs to be examined as well, because two people can see the same headline and have vastly different views on it. Okay. Your knowledge of history vastly changes how you see these headlines. And we have to learn not to be afraid of headlines so much that we avoid them, because at the end of the day, they still have an effect on the world outside of you and how you have to move through it. They have an effect on the people around you and the world at large. And sometimes you are going to need to do something about it. And this is my personal opinion. Like, when it comes to politics, y'all have this idea that you have to be neutral to see the truth and see people as human beings. And that has a bit of credit, but there's just something about it that kind of irks me. Like, you don't have to put away the idea of left versus right to get a good reading on somebody. Okay, never has my hate for someone who is morally bankrupt prevented me from understanding their shadow or the reason why they do something. It just does not matter to me. These people are not actively healing, and so I feel no ways about calling them out. And a lot of y'all think you're being neutral, but what you're really doing is sympathizing with people. Okay. Y'all make a lot of excuses for people, for like, especially politicians, And I think that's really just crazy. Okay. Some people in this community are on a mission to defeat these people, not just understand them and make excuses for them. And this discourse came about after the 2024 election, where a lot of psychics on the left got the election prediction wrong, and people on the right started talking about, oh, it's because they're biased. And you're not biased. You just happen to be right that one time. Okay. Y'all bypass every single thing in the Cheeto Man's history that made him a horrible presidential pick. But we're biased because your election prediction was right. Okay, girl. And trust me, I'm being kind here. I'm giving y'all the benefit of the doubt. Okay, I didn't say that you guys were being malicious at all, in your support of whoever it is. But there is some willful ignorance at play, and it needs to be called out because some of y'all are still going on with your anti-woke campaigns, and it's pissing me off. And another thing, there is so much transphobia in this community. There's just so much bigotry in general, but the transphobia really, there's just something about it like, there's never been a time when okay, like, I don't understand how you as a spiritual person, a person who in society's eyes is the odd one out, and you can, just look at trans people in the exact same way. And some of y'all are like, "Oh, me not believing in trans people and me speaking my beliefs online and saying what I have to say about trans people not being real is not harming them in any real way." How do you reconcile that in your mind? You believe you can write something down, speak something, think something, visualize something, and manifest it. But you don't believe that your hatred for these people has any effect on society and the way that they view trans people. Okay. Like trans people trans women die at a higher rate than any other demographic of women. You don't think that trans hate has anything to do with that. You don't think that you saying that you don't like trans people, you don't want trans people here, here, and here has nothing to do with with how you think and believe. That doesn't make any sense, okay? And look, Archangel Michael, okay, the angel of truth, said, y'all need to stop that. Stop the anti-trans nonsense. Like, just stop it. It doesn't make any sense. It just does not, and there's this trans women versus real women fight. Like, there doesn't need to be a fight, okay? Women on both sides disparage women on both sides as far as I have seen, and I've seen the opposite. I've seen trans women be super supportive of cis women, and like, it's just, I can't educate you on everything that it is that you need to know about, cisness and transness. You have to do that for yourself. But just stop, just stop the nonsense. There's no reason for you to hate them. Literally no reason. If the centrists and the people on the right had any leg to stand on, MAGA would not have crumbled before everyone's very eyes. Okay. And even if you're not MAGA, like you don't have to identify with MAGA to be MAGA in my eyes. You don't. Okay. This issue is more complex than anyone, really thinks or believes. And we can't really rely on any party, and if you're just spiritual just to tell people what to do and how to live and to judge other people, you're doing it wrong. If you're not examining yourself, examining your beliefs every so often, dealing with your shadow, you're not doing it right. You're just not. You are on a path that you're not supposed to be on. Okay. To any sensitive people watching this video, when there's a problem, you always have to address two sides. That's real accountability, right? So we have to come together and talk about this. If you're a sensitive person and you're watching this video and you agree, like tarot readers are mean as all hell and they're not empathetic, we got to talk about our side of it now. So I have a tip for you. If you have a video, you need the message and you feel like there's no other video out there to give it to you and you really need the advice and you're going to be triggered, turn the volume off and read the captions or read the transcript. Okay. So that's what I do, especially if you're just sensitive to people shouting at you and treating you like a child. That's what I do. All right. And also, you don't have to. Oh, and a tip is just like try to do your own readings, and be compassionate with yourself. And because only you know your story. And I mean, these are like free general readings. They will never be able to accommodate like everybody and their trauma. But, we can't just let them off the hook either. Right. So just, divest from these videos videos, if you watch one, just let it be that one. Stop watching like 10 of them and, until you get the answer that you want or, or until you really, tell yourself what you need to hear about this. Because sometimes we're looking through videos trying to get a reader to tell us it's just going to be okay. And sometimes we're not going to get that. Sometimes spirit has a different message for us. Sometimes, the thing about tarot readings is that they're not all for comfort and they are instructions from spirit, from the spirit world. And yeah, we need to take that into account and we need to like cut this dependency on tarot readers. I'm sorry. Like you can have your favorite readers that you go to. There are great empathetic readers out there, right? But yeah, that's my advice. And also, if you're fighting with the message, there's two sides to this. Sometimes you're fighting with the message because the person is delivery is trash. But other times you're probably just not ready to hear it yet, right? You're not at the level of awareness that you need to accept the truth, and that's okay. What you got to do is set the intention to become ready to hear it later on and add it to your watch later. And usually these things come back up, like for me, well, usually these things come back up when we're ready to hear them. Like sometimes they just even pop up in your feed. Hey, this is in your watch later. Watch it right now. So yeah, just do that. And yeah, that's the advice that I have for you all so far. And also, if you have, something bad happen to you, look for readings that are specifically for comfort. Don't just go to your favorite tarot reader and try to get whatever message you need out of the general message because it's not always going to be what you need in the moment. And sometimes you just need comfort. Like comfort is a need, there's nothing wrong, even as an adult to seek comfort. It's just you have to balance it with the truth and, taking accountability and all of that. And, just be mindful of that.